Yay! Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are catching this live or catching the replay. I'm so excited and grateful that you're spending time with me here. For those of you who may be tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much. My name is Lauren Dragon Cook. I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm an energy healer. I'm super excited for this video and this live today because it is so important, especially if you are beginning to tap into your own intuition and you're beginning to learn all the things. Charlotte clearly wants to say hi. She's like, oh, hi, everyone. Hello. So this video, I have been wanting to create this for a while. And if you're tuning in, guys, please let me know. I love to interact with you guys and talk to you guys instead of feeling like I'm just talking to myself. So feel free to say hi. But I've been wanting to create this video for a while. Setting container is something that typically I actually reserve for my private clients, my one-on-one clients, my mentorship clients, and I'm finding that it's becoming more and more important though, as of recently, especially. And I want to share how to do this practice with you guys. So without further ado, let's keep this short as we possibly can, right? I know your time is valuable. So the purpose, the reason, and all of the things when it comes to container, let me start off by saying container is creating a safe and sacred space. It's something that you always want to do, whether you are doing a card reading for yourself, whether you are doing energy work on yourself, whatever it may be. But I set container for myself and for the boys every single day. When I wake up, I set container. So, and I'm non-denominational, guys. Like I use universe, source, creator, God. I use it all interchangeably. So use whatever you feel comfortable doing, but it's very much like prayer, but there's a different energetic component to it. Okay, so I will be the first one to tell you that I had for the longest time a very strong aversion to the word God and all of that stuff. So I had an aversion to the word prayer as well. So for me, I could use the word container and it felt right and it felt good. So container though, like I said, it has more layers to it. And so it is a way of starting your day. It's creating an energetic bubble that you are able to put yourself in. So before doing any work with any clients, before doing any readings with clients, before doing soul realignments with my clients, I'm always setting a container. And so the way that you do this is it really has everything to do with intention, but there are some basic components that aren't taught, so to speak. So that's why I wanted to create this video. So this comes from years of pulling from different resources and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. So now that you know what container is, when you can use it, and if you have questions as I'm talking to you guys, or when you're watching this live or watching the replay, please feel free to drop them in the comments so I can answer them. But the thing that you always want to do is you always want to start just by closing your eyes and just feeling your breath, okay? And it doesn't have to be some like yoga meditative like thing. It's just like, okay, just becoming present with your breath because that grounds you, okay? So once you've done that, you always want to begin. And let me preface this by saying, I'm telling you what works for me, okay? I'm telling you how I set container. I'm sure there are plenty of ways out there. So I'm just prefacing this by saying this is how Lauren Dragon Cook, this is how I set container, okay? So I always call to Archangel Michael. So you want to say something along the lines of, at this time, I call upon the sovereign and most benevolent form of Archangel Michael to create safe, sacred, protected container lined with Christ consciousness and coding. Now let me tell you what we just did. Archangel Michael is the gatekeeper. Okay, he is a protector. He's like your big brother. He's always got your back. And so I call to him, and I just got chills. I call to him because he is going to basically help you open a door to creating that space. By calling to the sovereign and most benevolent form of Archangel Michael, you are calling to the highest version of him, okay? Then, to create a safe, sacred, protected space lined with Christ consciousness and coding. Christ consciousness, okay, I've already told you. I used to have a major aversion to God, prayer, anything that had to do, for me, in my eyes, church, because of my own history. But Christ consciousness is the highest frequency there is, period. Like, literally, it's the highest possible energetic frequency there is. So when you invoke that into your container, you're setting that frequency, you're setting that for like the walls. You're painting the walls that frequency, that color, if that makes sense. So create Christ consciousness and coding. And so what you're doing is you're bringing the activations and you're bringing you're painting the rest of the bubble with that good, with that light frequency, with that light energy, okay? I'm just trying to remember where I was. Okay, and then the next step that you always want to make sure you do for yourself, or if you're working with clients or whatever it may be, you want to call upon the highest masters, teachers, angels, departed, and ancestors. You always want to call in your highest guides, your highest guide team. So I would say something like, with Christ consciousness and coding, I call upon my highest masters, teachers, angels, guides, departed, and ancestors to step forward into this container at this time and assist with this work, assist in the creation of this container. And then you can, there's many different things, but you want to make sure that you are bringing this container up to a frequency that resonates with light, okay? So container setting is very important because you are infusing your higher self, that energy, that good into this bubble that you're creating for yourself, okay? I hope this is resonating. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Yeah, so call upon my highest teams, masters, angels, departed, ancestors to come forward into this container at this time and assist with this work. I invoke, I call to the elements, I call to wind, I call to water, I call to fire, and I call to earth to anchor and ground this container as well. Because what happens when you are working with energy and frequency, it's very ethereal. It's very it can make you float, essentially. Not literally, but you're working with energies that are very uplifting. So you want to make sure that you also are remaining grounded in this container. And so that's what calling in the elements does. So I like to anchor and ground this container by invoking the elements. I call to earth, I call to wind, I call to fire, I call to water. To do so, I don't think I mentioned that you want to raise the frequency of the container up into the highest dimension possible. So you can say, I lift this container up into the 33rd dimension, into the 44th dimension, whatever it may be, whatever feels right for you, lifting it into that dimension, and then you're going to be invoking that energy, that has to do with that dimension as well. And so once you've done that, you can say something like, I denounce all backlash, I denounce interference. And I always like to place protection on the outside of my containers. And so saying something like at this time, I place 17 layers of mirrored protection on the outside of this container to reflect and refract anything that does not resonate with the highest good of all, to be sent back to origination, to sender. And then you can say something like, I cut and dissolve any and all cords of attachment to and from me now, and send them back to origination. And I call in golden creator substance to heal and seal those spaces where those cords were once attached. And you can go into depth. Like you can bring deities, you can bring goddesses, you can bring whomever into the container that you want. Like today when the boys and I were heading to school, I was like, guys, you want me to set container, while we like on our way to school? And they were like, yep. And so we just set container together, and we, it's all about intention. It's all about intention and what you want to see happen. But there's so many other elements that you can incorporate and you can bring in. But like that is your basic container. And so when you're done setting container, you would just say something like, this container is now set, and so it is. And it's kind of like locking it in, like, so to speak. It's kind of like, right, making sure that it happens, right? And so I would love to answer any questions that any of you may have. If there's anything that, if you're watching and you're a regular private client of mine and you know that I forgot something, let me know. Do you close your containers later? That is such a good question. Thank you. So yes, you always want to remember to close your container, because what happens is you can remain energetically attached to, like, especially if you're doing work with other people, you remain energetically attached, and you don't want that. But also, you can like feel very ungrounded, if that makes sense. And so you always want to just make sure you close container. And so the way you close container, thank you for bringing this up. I knew I was forgetting pieces. The way that you close container, so like once you've like done whatever, like going to school and setting container with the boys today, I'm not gonna like close container because it's not something that necessarily needs to be closed. But like I just got done doing a soul realignment for a client, of which those are now being offered. So excited. I'm going to make an official announcement later. But anyway, was doing a soul realignment with a client, and I closed that container. Like once I was done accessing her Akashic records, I closed container. Does that make sense? So like it depends on the intention of it too. It depends on the intention of it too. I always close like an overall container though when I go to sleep. Like I send out my gratitude, I send out thanks, and I close container like for the day. But so the way that you close container is so you would just, again, feel yourself breathing and just kind of like become focused. And so you would say something like, at this time, I'd like to send out my gratitude, my thanks, my appreciation to my guide teams, to those that were able to assist in this work, that were able to assist in the creation of this container. I'd like to send out waves of gratitude. And if you worked with like a specific goddess or specific deity or whatever it may be, sending out your gratitude to them specifically is always a good idea. Like I invoke Mother Mary a lot into my containers. She's unconditional love, support energy. I invoke Mary Magdalene as well. and Mother Earth energy, just the mother energies I invoke often. And so I'll send out my gratitude to them as well. So saying something like, I send out my thanks to Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Mother Earth energy for their presence and assistance. I, ask for continued favor as these prayers are lifted, as these integrations take place. And I, it depends on like the circumstances of what you were setting container for, but just acknowledging whatever it was. And so once you've kind of done that, you would just say, this wheel and container is now lifted, and so it is. And that is how you would close container. And that way you're not like remaining in the ethers, so to speak. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for asking that, because it's a really important point that I would have completely forgotten. So yeah, any other questions? Let me know, guys. I'll stay on here for like a couple more minutes, but yeah, I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted to make sure that I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but setting container is something that I do with my one-on-one clients, and it's not something that I've necessarily like ever spoken about. So I wanted to kind of give you a behind the scenes of what it can look like to set container. If there's no more questions, then I will hop off. But like I said, if questions come up later, just write them in the comments below the video, and I'll be sure to answer them. I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to address anything that, anything that you wanted to, I could talk about in the video while you have me. I had asked my guys last time you talked about this. I love hearing your method and how you view using the term God. Yes. And so, yes, for me, God, I'm non-denominational, but God is the same as creator, universe, source, the divine. Like it's all, one and the same. It's just a matter of whatever you feel comfortable using. And like when I first started my spiritual journey, like when someone talked about God, there was such an aversion for me. I was like, ooh, no, just because of my experience, I had previously with the church. And so, that's something that I've worked through the years. But really, the funny thing is, so many people don't realize, like, just because someone's spiritual or intuitive doesn't mean that they don't believe in Christ consciousness and, in Jesus, in God, in all of those things. Like, it's all one. Like, it is part of the practice. So if like someone says to you, like, they don't, they're very intuitive, but they don't like to talk about God or whatever it may be, then you just know that there's some wounding there. Containers are so helpful. I set multiple throughout the day depending on what I need. Yes, I love it. It makes me so happy. Yay. And it is. It's really just about intention and what you need, what you're calling in. And you can invite other people and their higher selves into your container as well. But you want to always make sure that you're giving them the option. So like when I go to sleep at night and I'm like setting container before I go to bed, I will just make it a point to say something like, I invite in this person if they, if their higher self would like to enter the container as well. You can give them the opportunity, because you never want to forcefully do something. It's all about intention. So yeah, love it. Because that wouldn't work out too well, I think, for anyone. So yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, if nothing is popping up, then I'll go ahead and end this video. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear your feedback, hear what your biggest takeaway was maybe from this. If you'd like to see more videos like this, my personal mantra for the month is to serve. Is just to serve as much as I possibly can. And so, whatever is coming up for you guys that you are personally needing, let me know so I can serve you, so I can create a video, I can create a resource, or I can offer a service, or whatever it may be. Yes, I will absolutely be posting this, so it'll live in my my IGTVs. I'll probably post it on my Facebook page too, just so that people that aren't on Instagram or aren't on Facebook and vice versa can have access to it. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Please let me know. I love, and live for your feedback. It really is super helpful. So sending you guys all so much love, so much gratitude for spending time with me today. I know your time is valuable, and yeah, I will talk with you all soon. Bye.